Hey, what's up everyone? Been a little bit since my last video. Been meaning to get one out, but just time hasn't cooperated. So figured after work I would go ahead and do a little air gun therapy. Much needed air gun therapy. But anyhow, hope everyone's doing well. Tonight I am working on a Snow Peak SP500, which is the basically the Diana P5, spelled F-I-V-E. So not well, it's Diana branded. It actually made in China, and I gotta say they actually did a fairly reasonable job on this. There are a few issues out of the box with them, but I think I'll save that for another video and do a full review on it. I think it's deserving of such. But anyhow, if you've been curious about them, it's fun. Needs a little work to be tolerable in my opinion, but once you sort it out, they're pretty nice. But anyhow, main thing I wanted to do was address some questions that had come up in videos previously, and I hadn't addressed the comments because I was intending to make this video. Actually, I was intending to make this video a little over a week ago, but as I said, I didn't have time to get to it. But anyhow, first question I wanted to address was from Mark, and Mark was asking what my opinion was of the Hawke Sidewinder scope. And sorry, gotta keep track of this. Anyhow, the Hawke Sidewinder. So it's funny, Amy had the Hawke Sidewinder before I did, and she didn't have much luck on it. Now I will say she went through the warranty process with Hawke, and they were fantastic. They took the scope back after giving her a return authorization, and immediately sent out a replacement, which was really cool of them. I will say the warranty was fantastic. She got it back and just was never really that happy with it. So as a result, we ended up trading out scopes. She ended up using my Hawke Air Max, and I took the Sidewinder off of her hands, since I was able to shoot either scope pretty well, actually. So anyhow, long story short, outside of that one warranty deal, which was, again, great with them. Yeah, let's do that. Sorry. Mine's been fantastic. I've been very happy with it since I've been using it on my HW97. I find that the clarity is significantly better than the Air Max is, but I will say that the Air Max, the parallax or the focus, the side wheel focus is a little bit more accurate on the Air Max, or a little bit more precise, I should say. But regardless, I've had really good results with both of them, but I do feel that the Sidewinder is a little bit better. As far as durability with me, I've had no complaints thus far. Another question that got brought up, somebody else was asking if what my thoughts were as far as pellets and health concerns and things of that nature. And I did address that one as a comment, but I will say that generally speaking, I don't worry too much about it. Now, that said, you know, when you're done shooting, go wash your hands, and obviously don't be munching on a cheeseburger or a sandwich while you're, you know, got lead all over your fingers. Don't be silly about it. But I think as long as you wash your hands before eating or anything of that nature, you know, when you wrap up shooting, I think you'll probably be fine. At least that's been my approach thus far, and I'm still alive and kicking despite some of my best efforts. But anyhow, what else we got going on? So obviously we've got the Grand Prix coming up in Carolina, not next weekend, but the weekend afterwards. So there's been a lot of prep with that. Previously, somebody suggested making a video going over our preparations for a Grand Prix, and I'll be honest with you, you'd probably be kind of bored with it because very little of it has anything to do with the gun. My view on that is the gun should pretty much be sorted out well in advance. And really my time at this point is just verifying that everything is functioning the way I expect it to. I really don't want any major changes with the gun at this point, the scope or the setup in general, because I know it in its current form and I really don't want to screw that up. So Mainly what I've been doing is I go out first thing in the morning when the temperature's in the 60s, go ahead, shoot, check out the point of impact, and then I go out later on in the evenings when it's, 90 degrees and verify the same thing. And again, I'm looking for temperature sensitivity impacting my elevation over the course of the day. And that's one of the problems with shooting matches here in the southeastern United States in September is by the time this match rolls around, we're probably going to be 50 degrees in the morning and maybe high 70s, low 80s as things warm up throughout the match. So when you sight in, oftentimes it's going to be significantly colder than it is during the match itself. And if there's going to be any changes with the way the scope performs or the gun performs, you definitely want to know that in advance. So fortunately, a couple of things that we've done that kind of take that into consideration. The main one being that we zero our rifles at 40 yards. And based on that 40-yard zero, I can drop 20 feet per second and have really no difference at 55 yards. Now at 10 yards, it is going to change it by about 2 to 3 clicks. But I can work that out. Same thing applies to elevation changes as well as temperature shifts. Again, because we zero at 40, 50 and 55 really aren't a problem. If it's going to affect anything, it's going to be those 10-yard shots. And honestly, my experience has been that they're generally not that many 10-yard shots, and I typically don't have much problem with them. So if I'm going to struggle with something, I'd prefer to struggle with that rather than the majority of the shots that we're going to be taking, which will be 30 yards and beyond with a lot out at 50, 55. So that's the logic there. But again, get out there and test it at the different temperatures, and that's what we've been doing. A lot of gear prep at this point, just making sure we've got everything set up. Generally, I have a packing list that's going to be broken into have on site items versus have on hand items. So for example, I'm generally not going to bring my cleaning cloth on hand, but I'll have it on site in my truck or my hard case. But in my soft case that I use to carry the gun, I'll have a lens cloth. I'll have some screwdrivers and Allens just in case something, starts working its way loose throughout the match, so I don't have to leave the lane and go back to the truck, which would be a no-no. But like I said, as far as the gun's concerned, it kind of is what it is right now, unless something goes horribly wrong, which, boy, I hope that's not the case. So anyhow, one of the issues with this little pistol is the fact that it tends to shoot very high, and it also shoots to the left. And a lot of people have complained that the rear sight, which is adjustable for elevation and windage, just doesn't have enough adjustment. So I'm going to go ahead and tweak the barrel a little bit to get it to where the rear sight is actually functional. I've tried shimming the rear sight and doing some work there, and I can get it where I want it, but there's not enough adjustment left there for, the typical adjustments you might need to make. So I'd much rather make the change at the barrel, and that way the sights are at their midpoint, so I can go ahead and make an adjustment there. Anyhow, I think that pretty well covers it. Again, my apologies for not getting one of these out a little bit sooner. Things have been a little hectic with work and trying to get out there and do a couple shots at least each day. Doesn't leave a whole lot of time for recording videos, but Amy and I will be going to that match. With any luck, we'll do some recordings while we're out there, get some still shots, and get those posted up as well. So I know she's really excited about it, as am I. Going to be a heck of a lot of fun. Regardless of how we shoot, it's always nice to get out to these things and hang out with like-minded people and a lot of folks we consider to be our friends. So anyhow, hope you're doing well. I'm going to get back to work here, and I will catch you later. Take care.